parts of a Brexit trade deal with the EU may prove impossible, and there is now very little time left to bridge the gap, the UK warned today. The final round of formal talks broke up this afternoon between London and Brussels just 13 days an EU summit, where a trade deal was meant to be agreed. Instead of having a deal ready to sign, Boris Johnson will now intervene personally tomorrow in talks with the President of the European Commission. The talks to take stock and discuss next steps could prove a crucial moment. They will decide whether talks should continue informally next week or both sides should walk away. If they walk away, EU rules will end in the UK at 11 p.m. on December the 31st, and billions of pounds worth of trade will be slapped with tariffs and bureaucracy overnight. Government officials believe the change could see queues of up to 7,000 lorries to Kent's ports in a worst-case scenario. If talks continue, they could move into the tunnel of final intense period, where the trickiest details are thrashed out in a media blackout. But Brussels insiders urged caution, saying that the move shouldn't be read as a softening of the EU position on Mr. Johnson's internal market bill. We will get closer and closer, and that may involve intense talks, but unless Mr. Johnson honours the commitments it made and campaigned, there will be no deal, a source familiar with the talks said. In a statement today, UK Chief Negotiator Lord Frost said the outlines of an agreement are visible on key areas like trade in goods and services, transport, energy, social security, and participation in EU programmes. But he added, on fisheries the gap between us is unfortunately very large, and, without further realism and flexibility from the EU, risks being impossible to bridge. And he said there were still major differences over how far the UK chooses to stick to EU rules and standards. Lord Frost added, these issues are fundamental to our future status as an independent country. I am concerned that there is very little time now to resolve these issues ahead of the European Council on 15 October. For our part, we continue to be fully committed to working hard to find solutions, if they are there to be found. Close quote. In a series of regional broadcast interviews, Mr. Johnson told BBC Midlands there was every chance to get a deal, adding, "It's up to our friends and partners to be common-sensical." Speaking to BBC Northern Ireland, he added, "They've done a deal with Canada of a kind that we want, why shouldn't they do it with us? We're so near, we've been members for 45 years. It's all there, it's just up to them." Yet an EU insider told the Mirror that talks had reached their limit without actual commitments from Boris Johnson. They also warned European leaders would need convincing that he would keep his word, after showing he was willing to tear up previous agreements with the 27. Boris Johnson will speak to EU Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen tomorrow in a bid to rescue the talks. Ms von der Leyen today said the EU wants a trade deal with the UK, but not at any price. "Where there's a will, there's a way," she added. "We have made progress on many difficult fields, but the main ones all remain very much open. There is still a lot of work to do." Ms von der Leyen announced yesterday that the EU was launching legal action against the UK over Mr. Johnson's bid to break an agreement between the two countries. Brussels began infringement action against the UK over breaches of the good faith clauses of the withdrawal agreement struck last year. Boris Johnson wants to override the agreement, so UK ministers, not a joint committee, decide which EU tariffs apply to goods moving from Britain to Northern Ireland. The letter is the first step in a legal process that could result in a lawsuit at the European Court of Justice. But it is a common tool the EU regularly use against member states. Last year alone there were 800 open cases across member states. Ms von der Leyen's decision runs parallel to the formal trade deal talks which broke up without agreement today. Chief negotiators Lord Frost and Michel Barnier have said they need to reach an agreement this month for a deal to be in place when the transition period ends on December the 31st. And the European Council Summit on October the 15th, just 13 days' time, seems the crunch time. Downing Street today refused to rule out talks continuing beyond the summit into November. In his statement following this week's talks, Mr Barnier said an efficient governance framework was even more important following the UK government's decision to pass the bill, which he said breaches its obligations under the withdrawal agreement and the protocol on Ireland/Northern Ireland. He called for any new partnership to be underpinned by clear rules as he pushed for a resolve on state aid, and said a stable, sustainable and long-term agreement on fisheries was needed. It follows reports this week that the UK has offered Brussels a 3-year transition period to allow European fishermen to reduce their British sea quota gradually, rather than face an immediate cut when the transition period ends on January the 1st.